Homie Reec, you already know, man. It's Taylor Gang, I die.
Who you with?
Reec.
Yeah. Who you with?
Who you with?
Hey, we are back at it. It is a beautiful Tuesday right here from Media Campus West. Got the Reec Show live. And for those streaming online, we appreciate you guys looking and watching. We have a very special guest today. She's going to teach you how to get right in more ways than one. So we definitely going to love and enjoy speaking with her. Our special guest today, we got Miss Deberah Williams. She was just here not too long ago with a group of lovely women spreading that magic, talking about financial literacy and a bunch of things. They had a wonderful event. I heard the event went well. We just kind of talked about it. And then she said they had another event about real estate. So we're going to get into the nitty gritty of this thing. Without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce our special guest.
Gossiping.
It's all about that star power.
Stay tuned because you know Reec is going to have one of your favorite stars with him today.
Stay tuned.
That's right. Like I said earlier, Miss Deberah Williams, owner of Fresh Start LLC. This is the community's credit coach. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm well. I'm really well. I'm glad to have you on early in the week. I know a lot of people coming off the weekend, every weekend. They like, I'm just sick of running in this rat race, and they need a change. They need to find out a way to jumpstart their self financially or start building that generational wealth, and you can help them do it with your conversation.
Yes, I can help them. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. So talk to us a little bit, like what was the first thing? When did you realize, because you have a credit, basically a credit coaching company, right? And
Right.
you help people because we can't do credit repair, quote unquote, especially in the state of Georgia, but you can coach someone. You can give people advice. You can give them pointers. You can show them how to do things. And that's kind of how you approach it. So like, when did you realize how important, like the importance of credit?
It started like in let me go back. My father taught us this when we was 10 years old.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I have to go back to the roots because that was the first thing he instilled in our family is that we cannot purchase anything with credit. Our credit was our name. And I'm from Virginia. And, that was very weird for me hearing him say that because I didn't know what that meant. So what he had me to do was pay all the bills. He put the bills online in front of us. And then I had to write the checks for each bill. And the point was that they didn't make a lot of money, but what he did was he put like maybe $20 on each account. Back then, you can just pay what you can on each account, which made them establish credit. So it started when I was around 10, and then it's been going ever since, like until later. And I moved to Georgia because when I went to college, they gave us a credit card. They never explained about the interest and the principal. They just said, use it. And that's what I did.
Right. So, that's happened to so many people. They didn't have that introduction like you had, to where you could see that things cost. Like I actually had to sit down with my older daughters the other day and was like, this the house cost, the electricity cost, the water cost, and I need you guys to see how that works because when you go to school, you may get an apartment and you may not realize I got to keep the lights on here. I might have to pay this bill. Like things actually cost. So that's actually awesome that your father was able to sit you guys down and do that at such a young age and just get you kind of introduced to money because most kids, especially from certain demographics, we don't get that introduction. It's called grown folks business, and we got to break that cycle.
Exactly. You're right. And I think we need to start that early. I know I started that with my son as well. He's now 35. But, I think it's so important to teach our young children about money. I mean, before buying sneakers. Why did we make this money to purchase your clothes or what we need to keep a roof over our shoulders? Or, a lot of parents just award them, but you need to make sure they have a responsibility to get that reward. And how does it take to establish that award? Because once they get out of that household, they're looking at you like, can I come back? Because it wasn't established in the very beginning. Yeah,
that's absolutely true. I'm trying to build our kids to be like, nope, you're good to get outside. You won't have to come back if you want to. It'll be because of a luxury situation. It's not because you have to. It's because you know how to not survive but thrive on your own.
Right.
So let's talk about this first credit card. You get this card, like most of us do, and we say, "Oh, they gave me $300 to spend," not knowing that $300 can turn into $700 real quick.
Oh my God. When I received my first credit card, I went to Norfolk State University, and we used to hang out at this circle. It was military circle, it was a mall. And we hung out there to just buy things, check out the military guys that was in the shopping center. But what we learned was, we can shop and we can put $20 on a credit card and we good. So that's all they told us to do. I had this credit card from the age I was 17 until maybe 10 years ago. And what happened, it started with a $200 limit, went up to $5,000 to $10,000 limit. That was an issue for me because I was not paying on the interest or the principal. I was just paying enough is what they said. So make a long story short, I had to, with other things, with owning so many properties, and it went down in 2005 and 6. So I had to file a BK, as we call it, as a bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And I filed with a 750 credit score.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. That's not what you would tell somebody to do now.
No.
Right.
No.
There's so many other options. And I know from that experience, I'm guessing from that experience, that's what kind of got you into it, to figure out, like, how can I change my situation? And then you started helping others.
Yeah. I was doing that prior, because now my credit score, thank God, is 815.
Excuse me. Let me hit the hype bell for that.
Oh my God. It's just like I never thought I can get there. But I started working with a mortgage company in Atlanta, and I was helping people qualify for a home. And that's when I started with the Fresh Start, is because people was qualifying but could not afford the homes. No one explained to them that once you get a home, you got to be able to keep the home. They just qualified you.
Yeah.
So the company went under, and then I had to start something. And that's how Fresh Start became a business, because I was told at that time I was too honest with my clients, because I was telling them they was not ready to qualify for a loan.
Gotcha.
So I was terminated from that company, which they went under right after I was terminated, which was a blessing for me to get out.
Yeah.
But it was giving the wrong information to the community, and I did not. That was not cool. So that's how I started Fresh Start LLC.
That's awesome that you decided to take the ethical route. And usually people in finance aren't that ethical or moral.
Right.
When it comes to the big companies and the big business, like you said, you were terminated because you're telling people on paper you qualify, but in real life you may not be able to afford these monthly payments, and then you'll be right back at a worse position than you are now. And they told you were too honest.
Yep, that was
wow.
cool. Yeah, definitely.
Wow, that is enlightening. That is enlightening.
Yeah.
Now, I know you kind of see it today, too, where you look at some of these cases like with Wells Fargo, and they're talking about, they're still doing redlining and blacklining, and they're not letting certain demographics qualify for loans and stuff like that, but they may have the same paperwork as somebody else of a different hue.
Yes. Yeah, we're definitely seeing that. As a matter of fact, I have a meeting with my business partners tonight, because that's what we're going to talk about, the real estate agents, because the article just came out recently, like everyone is bidding on homes, and it's based on your race. You can have the other race bid higher than you or the same. Who would they choose? And so unfortunately, it's not us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. I saw another article with when you talk about real estate, is one couple. They said they had their pictures up in the house. It appraised for like $350. They took all their pictures down. They put up some stock photos of a white family, and the same exact appraiser came by. Didn't realize it was the same house, and appraised it for $150,000 higher, which is unfortunate. So
unfortunate,
right? For you to be a person of color and helping other people of color kind of realize these unsavory practices, and then at the same time you're helping them grow too. So let's kind of talk about that. You started Fresh Start LLC because you needed one yourself. But you decided, I'm not just going to help me, I'm going to help other people. So you take that same ethical standard and you start showing people what to do through your business. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. What I want to do is, how can I stand out different in other companies? And what I feel is more important is coaching one client at a time to how to build their credit. But first of all, how to understand a credit report. Majority of people do not know how to read a credit report. And when I talk to my clients about what I want them to do first is pull it. And they'll look at me like, you know what, I don't know where I'm pulling this from. But once you give them instructions, like there's so many different sites that you can pull a free credit report. But the point is, I want them to make sure they understand that credit score is not the true score. Because you're going to hear all the time people talk about which websites to go to. But what we want to verify is that they pull the report and understand what's on there and if that information belongs to them.
Right. I've seen that a lot of times. We've had different people talk about finance and different things, and something as small as an improper address could affect your score from anywhere from 20 to 100 points. So that's good. Yeah, that's good that you're saying that. So where do you pull your credit and get a kind of the best, I guess the most accuracy?
The best credit location, I would say, the website to pull your credit report is from www.annualcreditreport.com.
Okay.
And with annualcreditreport.com, that's the best because they basically pull everything from the beginning of your life until the end.
Oh, wow.
And you do not have to pay for the credit scores because they would ask you to pay, I think, like $10 if you want the credit scores. Right now, you really don't want your scores. You just want to make sure that information is accurate on there as well. You can only get one free one a year. But that doesn't mean you don't have to get another one, but you're going to have to pay for that one. And what I always recommend is they make sure they copy it or save it to a PDF. And then that's when we look at that credit report. Or they can go to creditkarma.com is another one. And Credit Karma has great information on there, which you see a lot of credit cards, which that's how they make their money. And but the credit score is not a true score. Theirs come with TransUnion and I think Equifax, if I'm not mistaken. But please do not trust that credit score. What we want to make sure you verify that information is on that credit report.
Okay, so more so than the score, we want to look at the information on there. And if we can strengthen the information, then by default, your score is going to be better.
Definitely. But you know what? I think this is very important to mention. A lot of people will go and look at a credit report and they would dispute everything on there. And this is what will hurt them the most. If this is your information that's on this credit report, if you created that debt and that is correct, do not dispute it. Because what they're going to do is they're going to double check and make sure that is your credit report, that's your debt. And they're going to just recap that information on your report, which means they're going to re-age that information. You may have something from Capital One that will be coming off your report in 2022, but you just started all over again by disputing it. Then they're going to start it from 2022, which will last on your report for 7 years.
Wow. So just to have clarity on that, certain things may be on there that are negative, but they may fall off because of the amount of time.
Correct.
And you're saying let's say you're almost at that fall off point, but you dispute it, even though it's yours, and you reset the clock.
Correct.
Oh, wow. So now you stuck with another, 5 or 7 years. How long is it?
7 years.
Sheesh. Okay. So, yeah, we don't want to do that. That's great
9
information.
years for public records. Anything in public records usually is 9 years, like a bankruptcy judgment, child support. That usually stays on for 9 years.
Wow, that's amazing. That's some we have not heard up here. We've had a few credit specialists and credit people that have come and gave some terrific information, but that's one thing we have not heard. So appreciate that, sharing with our audience. Thanks so much. All right, for yourself, what was like the first thing that you got either deleted or changed or updated that you were like, okay, I'm doing this. I think I could really do this.
All right, when the best thing that I did was start looking at that credit card and looking at the principal and the interest. So what I did was, let's take, for instance, if I had a balance of $1,000 and they will tell you your minimum to pay is $165. Then also they're going to tell you the interest on that card could be $85 a month. So what you're going to do is add that $165 and add $85 a month, and that's what you're going to pay every month. So what I established with myself is I have to pay myself by using this card. If I'm going to use this card, I'm just paying to use their name. So what I'm doing is I'm going to use this card, but I'm going to make sure I pay this card off every month. For now on using the card, I'm going to pay it off every month. But what happened was once I filed a bankruptcy, I was able to get 2 credit cards, which took me back up to a 700. Only 2. You only really need 2 credit cards. And then that started establishing my credit, but I had to learn how to beat the game. So the game is use the card to use their name, but you pay yourself off. Do not use the card if you know you can't pay this card off at least 3 months.
Okay, so you're saying if I got this card, I could basically use it as a bridge loan for myself.
Yes.
So I use the card, I pay whatever bills, I'm buying gas, I'm buying clothes or buying food or groceries and all of this stuff. But I have the money for it. But instead of using my money, I'm going to use the card and then I'll pay it off. And that'll help strengthen me because it shows the usage, but it also shows that I'm responsible with it.
100%.
Okay. And that helps
Build
boost
your
my
scores.
credit.
At least 3 months, your scores will be where you need to be.
Wow. Okay. Nice bit of info right there. I like it. Plus, I just started learning about points and getting free money from these credit card companies. So
yes,
talk to me about that.
Oh, you got to make sure you watch which card it is, and you take and use those points. And I have a lot of friends that use the points and pay their bills off. Like you had said earlier, take them. You're going to pay them off anyway, or you're going to use it depends on, let me take it back. Some cards will specify only things that you can use for points. So like your gas, your food, use those points by purchasing with your card. Don't use your cash. You're going to pay it off anyway. So then pay it off at the end of the month, gain those points for flights, clothes, Amazon, whatever you want to do with it. I use mine for flights.
Okay, because you like to get out of here.
I
love it. I like that. You're giving us some gold right now for those just tuning in on the live chat. They asking where can they find you at. So can you give them a website or some information?
Sure. You can find me on www.afreshstartllc.com, or you can contact me at 770-833-8364.
All right, I appreciate you sharing that information. I hope you guys are taking it down and getting it situated, getting ready to make your next life move. When you start this business, right? Give us. I know you got one of those stories to somebody that came to you, or maybe an early customer, and you were able to kind of change their life around.
Yeah. That's the best part of my job, of my business, is that, and I'm being so honest with you, it's not about making the money. It's about making sure that person is content with their life. They satisfied, not knowing that, a lot of them come to me and say they think it's the end, because when they come to me, their head is down because they don't want to talk about their credit. They do not want to talk about their credit. And most of the time it's not as bad as they think. It's just not knowing what to do. And once we complete that, they're tasked with what they need to do, pay certain bills off, what they need to do, and they go purchase that home. That's the best gift that they can give me besides payment. As well as you got clients who may have money and they just got debt, and I can help them settle, negotiate, or pay off. And then they drive off. Like one of my clients just did a month ago with a brand new Porsche. But that was his choice.
I got you. That was his goal, but you helped him get there.
Yeah, that was his goal. But,
I got you. I like that. So it sounds like you kind of specialize in getting people home buyer ready, and making sure, because of your other previous background, making sure that they're able to maintain and keep that home. So we've had other people on and like, okay, I help with business credit, I help with that. It seems like you do everything almost, but is that a correct assessment? Like, I'm here to help you be able to get a home.
Definitely. That's what I'm here. Definitely. Even as young people or the kids getting ready to go to college, what I do is try to help them be prepared to know how to use a credit card to be able to get a home.
Okay.
So, yes, the home is one of the major things that we all should have, even as investment property. If they don't want it themselves, they can take it and buy as an investment property and make money from it. But they got to have that credit first.
That makes sense. That makes plenty of sense. So give us a couple of pointers, and I know this is what you do for a living, so nothing too intense. But could you give us a couple of pointers of what someone looking for a home should, maybe what a starting point is? Yeah,
the first thing they would do is, before you even go out to a broker or a real estate agent, number one is pull your credit yourself. Right? Know what's on that credit report, because once you go to a real estate agent, you can just jump to them and forget a broker or a person who's pulling your credit. The real estate agent is just anxious to sell you that home. But the first thing they want to know is, have you got approved for that loan for this house? And then they may say no. Then they're going to send you to a broker. Once the broker see your credit scores, they may like, you know what, I can't help you this moment, come back in another 6 months or a year. So
Mm.
what I want to do is prepare you before you even get the disappointment. Or I can set you up with the people who can help you, far as the brokers and far as the real estate agents, because we work as a team,
Okay.
you
Yeah.
know, and what we want to do is build you up, nothing to take you down. We're not a gimmick. We're
Yeah.
here to take you to your next level. That's what the community is about. And if
Mm.
we don't support each other, it will not happen.
That makes a lot of sense. Like my dad taught me how to buy a car years ago. He was like, don't just go up there test driving cars. See what you get approved for, to know how much you want to spend first, and then base
Yep.
that around the kind of vehicle you want to get. So this way you're
Excellent.
not like, falling in love with something you're not supposed to be in anyway.
Yeah, I'll then lose it later.
Yep, makes plenty of sense. I like that. I appreciate that. For those that are just tuning in, we got Miss Deberah Williams of A Fresh Start LLC. She's kind of like the community's credit coach, helping people get home buyer ready and to get Porsches too. We just found out. You guys been doing, and you've been doing these different seminars and things. Do you have anything coming up that the people may, want to jump into?
Not at the moment. We're working on it because we have a meeting tonight, so we're trying to plan one coming up soon.
Okay.
Because it's the break of school and everything, so a lot of people are getting out for the summer. So we want to make sure we can capture that audience when they are back together again, maybe after the summer. But I definitely want to say that the credit report, your credit history tells three things: the beginning of your story, the middle of your life, and you control the end of your story.
Okay.
So I think is so important.
That is. Can you give a parent out there that's watching right now that may have, because I know you said you've been teaching your son since he was young and you kind of got introduced early. What would be some good practices to teach maybe like a preteen or teenager?
Okay. I would say parents, the best thing to do is teach your child responsibility. And if anything they want, you got to make sure they want to work toward that goal and let them know how much it costs to get this item. Nothing is free. And then once they purchase the item, let them purchase it themselves. Start them a bank account. Start very early. Take them into the bank and let them open that account, or they can do it online. You need to have to go into the bank. But make sure they're rewarded the things that they achieve that you think is great, and just put money into their account and start. With that opening a bank account, they can also see their credit score by doing that. Let them open up a charge account. Let them get their first card or their phone.
Yeah,
And that
especially while
starts
you're
the
there to
history.
see it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're there to kind of help and coach them through it so they don't fall into that trap.
Yeah, and then you'll notice once they get their card, they're not going to want to use it because they won't take any money out of that account.
Mm-hmm. Makes plenty of sense. There you go. You got to do the reverse tricking.
My nieces,
like
they don't
it.
want to use their money.
That's beautiful. Well, we appreciate your time. Before we let you go and get back to saving the world, I do want to get you to our fast 4 questions. So you ready to play?
Let's do it.
All right. The first question: one thing you wish everyone knew about credit.
Their credit score, how to pull it.
Okay. And you kind of just told us that and had to look at that report at the annual, the website. What did you say?
www.annualcreditreport.com.
Okay, I'll be pulling mine today. All right. Number 2, you could have any 4 guests at dinner and possibly start a business with these 4 guests. Who would they be? It could be anybody.
Oprah Winfrey,
Okay. That's
Denzel Washington, Janet Jackson,
Okay.
and Babyface.
So we starting a label, we doing a movie, or we doing a business? I'm just kidding. That is a great table. That's a great table.
Exactly, because all of them have businesses. And, they can sit together and we can all just, collaborate with different types of ways to start your own bank.
Yep.
How to encourage weight loss, how to encourage money toward our community and the Black community.
Yeah.
I think, you never know. So you have all different types of people at that table to discuss all different types of avenues.
And each of those people have a base, like a fan base. So you have built-in marketing. Look at you knowing what to do. All right. What are your top 2 credit cards, like your favorites, and why?
My top 2 are Visa and MasterCard. And I'm going to tell you why. American Express may be good, but I don't like it because they tell you, you got to pay that amount off at a certain amount of time, which is good, but it also puts a could be a stigma on the person. If they can't afford to do it, they'll go ahead and charge, and then they can't pay that amount off. Then they are back into that slavery mentality, because once you are, I feel that you are indebted with these bank cards, you are now back into a type of slavery with them, because they are holding the cards on you. They are holding everything around your hands.
Yeah.
So I just said Visa and MasterCard, because they're, to me, the basic, which all of them applies the same way. You need to watch your interest rate on those cards. And you need to just pay your debt down.
I got you. Now give me one card that you know you like you said you like to travel. So which card is helping you get these flight credits and stuff?
All of them are Visas.
Okay.
All of them are Visa, I have to say, and it's through, like, one is through the credit union and one is through, like, BOA, Bank of America. But those are the ones, like you said earlier, I'm looking at who's going to give me those points.
Okay. All right. I like to shop for a cause, even if it's just to help myself.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. One piece of advice you would give yourself at 18, what would it be? Like
never shop if you can't afford it.
Never shop if, let me hit the hype bell for that. Never shop if you can't afford it. So that's what young Deborah would hear from Miss Deberah at Fresh Start LLC.
Oh my God, I had like 6 credit cards.
There we go. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to enlighten our audience, talk to us a little bit, and give us some free games. So thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Can you give them the website one more time before we go?
Sure. www.afreshstartllc.com.
All right. And it'll be in our group chat and live chat right now. If you guys are tuned in, if you're on the radio, I hope you got a chance to write that down, afreshstartllc.com, and check it out right now. You can start for your new future. Before we go, let me give you guys our Reese's Peace of Mind today. Changing your future is nice, but helping others change theirs, that's legacy building. That's what Miss Deborah's doing right now. So we appreciate you once again. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we're about to get back into this mix right now, right here on the Reec Show Live. You guys do not move. I got something real special for you. And this week, we have some major guests coming along. Way to kick it off right, to help you guys build. And then we're going to entertain you and, throw you for whatever you need the rest of this week. So stay tuned right here. This is the Reec Show.